I don't ever want to feel like that.
Right. I may have worded it wrong.
You did.
It probably came out wrong.
It came out all kind of wrong.
But at the end of the day.
At the end of the
what? What? And you got to be kidding me. I mean, you sit down.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Player, but you know what time it is. Told you guys about Ready to Love. We're dealing with David and Denice and talking about the way that Denice dealt with David as he was leaving the show. I don't want to be the person that talks against Denice consistently like we did Karen, but I'm starting to see some behaviors that I'm really not liking. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, well, you got the mineral. Don't forget to grab your merchandise, baby. All right, cool. Let's talk about it. So, we got to see David. I really did like David. I said to you guys, if you're feeling a relationship with somebody, David is the guy on Ready to Love who would make a great partner. But unfortunately, he's been kicked off on episode 3, and I understand why he got kicked off, because I think there was some issues with the finger wagging in Joy's face, and also as well the conversation around with Alicia. You know, the way that the women were, he was going to get voted off. You know what I'm saying? And so it's unfortunate, but I know why they were going to vote him off. Do you know what I mean? I get it. And maybe we can do another video about as to why he eventually got kicked off. But let's deal with the conversation that he had with Denice, because I think this really showed again what we're speaking about, that we don't want to hate on Denice, but we do want to say there is something not quite right. Denice is exhibiting, I would say, passive-aggressive behavior where she talks over, has to state her opinion in a self-righteous manner that is going to rile up a lot of people in the wrong way.
like that, and that's why we're here, because it made me feel away.
Nah, because
it don't matter.
You're not gonna put me out.
And so when you watch this scene with herself and David, where she should be trying to coach him in a loving manner and make it seem like a loving manner at least, she comes across quite harsh, quite cold, and you know, quite, I gotta tell you this because I've got to tell you this. If I got to be truthful and tell you, you know, I got to show you the way. And it's like, yes, that's not what it is. Like, you didn't even give him a chance to really articulate how he felt about why he's leaving, or about the conversation between Alicia, because he was actually making some points. And unfortunately, Denice was cutting him off every single time. So let's just deal with it. Let's go into it. I'll break it, get a closer look at that particular scene. So first thing that happens is that, you know, I really do appreciate when Denice gets into the conversation about what happened and the fact that he's going to be potentially leaving. I do appreciate that it's a difficult conversation, right? So we see that with Denice's body language. You know, she starts to scratch her neck with her necklaces to show that it's not really easy to have this conversation.
That you are, how can I put this?
Right? So, you know, when you're having this kind of conversation, there is a need for empathy. There's a need for kindness. There's a need for, and one thing I want to say to you guys is, it's not often what we're saying. It's often the tonality. Tonality plays a huge part in the way that you deliver a message and the way it's going to be comprehended. Okay, and so you will see that even in life, the way the news anchors will give, the way they give news is particularly done on purpose to help to either sensationalize a story or to calm the audience down, right? And to give factual information. We do this when we're trying to break off very hard news. We, you know, say, you know, sorry, my condolences, I do apologize for what's happened here. When you show some regret or some kind of, you know, sadness in your tone of voice, right? And so what we see Denice is, you know, beginning, like I said, the scratch from her necklace, it shows that obviously that she was going to find this conversation hard. She didn't want to say what she wanted to say, but in the course of the conversation, it turned into a battle. And it doesn't make sense why it turned into a battle, because she was there to deliver the news, the message, but because of the way she was going to deliver it, tonality, it became a place where David had to try and defend himself, right? And then when he tried to defend himself, she was cutting him off. So here we go. She said, the first thing she said, which set the pace and the tone for the conversation, was that you went wrong when you said you expect me to provide and take care of your kids when I'm with you and they are somebody else's. Well, first of all, sis, the moment
you went wrong when you said you expect me to provide and take care of your kids.
You've already started doing marking as if you are a school teacher in his life. Now, you may have students, but this isn't your student. It's a grown-ass man. Talk to him like a grown-ass man with respect. Where you went wrong. No. Look, David, where the ladies felt a certain type of way, right, was when you began to say. Because what you're now trying to do is get him to understand you. You're not trying to mark him with what's right and wrong. You're trying to get him to understand the point you're making. When you start with you went wrong, you've already started laying blame and critique. And that's going to make anybody defensive. But in this case, with David, he's already defensive. Right? He's already a defensive person. So you dropping that in there is going to make him even more defensive and ready to be tigerish in his response. You know, and so that tone sets the conversation style, and you know, the critique becomes about telling them off rather than giving them a teachable moment. So if ever you're trying to give somebody some pointers, just watch your tone. Your tone is very important. Are you coming across as somebody who's a know-it-all, a show-off-all, or are you coming across as somebody
You went wrong when you said, you expect me to provide and take care of your kids?
who genuinely cares about the person in that moment and in that season? And so when she said that, he immediately gets back on the wall and says, I may have worded it wrong. And as soon as he tries to defend himself, she says, you did. Yeah, you did. And again, that you did response, again, just shows that, okay, you're not trying to listen to him to hear him. You already made your mind up. Your tone is condescending. Your words are self-righteous. Your facial expression has already made its mind up, and that what you're responding with is, I'm hearing you, but I'm not listening to you. You understand? I already made my mind up. I know exactly what it is and what happened. You know, you worded it wrong. Yes, you worded it wrong. Yeah, you did. Like, whoa, like, my bad. Like, I was trying to, this is my side of the story, but you're not giving me the chance.
At the end of the day,
I would take care of the woman and her kids.
but that's not what you said.
Right.
Like,
Right? And so she says, at the end of the day, I would take, it was him that said, at the end of the day, I would take care of the woman and the kids. And this is where his point was where he was trying to get to the truthness of his point. First of all, we know he didn't like Alicia. We know that Red Tea. He wasn't feeling her. So the conversation around that was already a cornering. He wasn't really feeling that conversation because I don't think he was feeling her like that, right? But, you know, the conversation came out a certain way because I knew that he didn't explain it in its full entirety, and therefore what would happen is it'll get lost in translation. So when he said, so he's trying to clarify that now in this conversation. What do you do when someone's trying to clarify something? You allow them to clarify. You allow them the space to do this because you're trying to understand their point. Denice didn't come there to understand the point. She came there to send him home. Yeah? And send him home with a telling off.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Right? You know? And so she goes, that's not what you said. Now, you know, you see me when I said, that's not what you said, right? I'm adding a little bit of a tone to it because I want you to understand that's the kind of way she said it in. And when you say it like that, the tone, you can already tell where your mind's going to. You're already feeling defensive. You're already feeling like you're going to defend yourself. You're already probably, you know, preparing some counters for what this person's saying because you're feeling now attacked. That's not what you said, yeah? But he was explaining what he meant, but you cut him off. You know, she didn't give him a chance to be able to express what he actually felt. And he was trying to explain it to you. And instead of you now allowing him to have that space to say those things, you kept cutting him off. You know, and then she went off, and that's
not what you said.
Right.
Like that, and that's why we're here, because it made me feel away.
Nah, because
It don't matter.
you're not going to put me out there like that, though.
That's why you're here, because you made me feel away. And I was like, Denice, you are not the offended party, but I hear you. You're trying to defend a woman's honor. I get you, but you weren't the offended party. So, and now it seems like, again, remember I told you about this, now it seems like it's personal. Now it seems like it's absolutely personal. Whatever and whatever's triggering you is now playing in the way that you're now shaping this conversation with David. You know? And so as he obviously he says, nah, and he was just about to start his conversation, he goes, and it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It's like, whoa, sis, why are you shutting the brother down? He's trying to explain his point, and that dismissiveness is where people get frustrated. It's where we're like, Denice, we don't like your attitude. It's where we're like, Denice, I don't like you right now. It's where we're at, like, Denice, like, you're using your dark skin as an issue, but that's not the issue. The issue is your attitude. It's poor. It's poor. It's poor. Someone needs to pull Denice aside to listen. Your conversation and your tonality, the way you do it, poor. Now, you may not respect certain men because you don't find them attractive, but that don't mean you treat them any other way. That doesn't mean you talk against him in a certain way. You got to respect every human being. And the fact is, at the moment when she was having a conversation with him, kept on cutting him off. She wasn't allowing for him to formulate his ideas and give you some broader perspective of understanding, and give you a broader perspective of what he was thinking and feeling at the point in time. Now, regardless whether he said it this way, that's not what he might have meant. Then we have to give him a bit of room to be able to have that, benefit of the doubt. But Denice didn't want to give it. So for me, Denise's attitude at the moment is playing into the stereotype of angry black women. It's playing into the stereotype with that. Even though we know that black women are not that stereotype, but the point of the matter, she's playing into that stereotype by doing what she's doing, by saying what she's saying, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I really hope that she gets a hold of the way that she's able to articulate herself, because it makes a very big difference. Your tonality is so important. It can make or break relationships, and right now, I felt like she was rude about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't need to say all of that. She didn't need to cut him off every single time he was having a conversation. So, yeah, guys, I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts? What's your thoughts on the episode with Denice and David? I know you lot are sad that he went, ladies. I know you felt like he was a real one, ready to love, but unfortunately, it's a competition. The fittest will survive. The fittest literally will survive. So, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate it. Stay locked and stay loaded.